There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to MangaPod. We are a podcast in which we all get together after we've read part or all of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we are talking Dr. Stone chapters 1 through 34. I am Erin, a happily Erin, your host, and with me is one of my lovely co-hosts as well as a very special guest. So we'll have you guys go around and introduce yourselves, please.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger, aka Dex Bonus on everything, and our other lovely normal host is having a lot of problems with his PC, so send love to Lou. Poor sweet Lou. You can find him at Lou Talks Anime, and he's a delight, and we're sad to not have him.
Mike?
And hi, I'm Mike. I run a channel called Bonsai Pop on YouTube where we talk about anime, like analytically, socio-politically, all that stuff. It's fun. We break it apart. Yeah, exactly. Anthropologically, all those logicals. And here to talk about Dr. Stone with some buds. So it's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Totally, man. Lou talked to me about this like months ago. I was like, absolutely, like totally anytime. So
I know. Yeah, I'm glad it worked out. Like Dodger was saying earlier about how like the anime is airing right now, so it worked out really well that we were able to start it when that was going on. If you guys have never joined us for a MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description, aka summary. Mike will be reading that for us, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. So if it sounds like something you are interested in, once we get to spoiler section, you can scoodle-a-doo out of here.
Yeah, scoodle-a-doo.
Scoodle-a-doo. And then come back and watch the VOD of this later once it's uploaded on YouTube. We do ask that you do not spoil anything for manga, anime, anything until we get to spoiler section. Once we're there, please don't spoil anything past chapter 34. We do ask not to spoil anything from the anime as well. Don't post fake spoilers because we may not know whether they're real or fake, and we're kind of harsh on spoilers because we don't like to be spoiled by stuff. It's not fun at all. So you'll be timed out, banned, all of that. Well, I don't know if I have the power to ban people.
You'll be banned immediately.
Ban hammer.
I went extreme there.
Over.
Keep in mind, anybody who watches the anime, we did read past where the anime is at currently.
Oh.
So, yeah. So if you're watching the anime, we will be talking about things potentially that you don't know yet. So, you know, keep your earballs squeaked. I don't know. Anyways, continue.
Description summary. Mike, if you don't mind, hit us. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. When a mysterious light suddenly engulfs Earth, humanity is left petrified, frozen in stone. Thousands of years later, the world is teeming with vegetation, and forests have taken the places of cities that once stood proudly. One of the very first to emerge from their stone prison is Taiju Uki, who finds his good friend, a brilliant young scientist named Senku, has been preparing for his awakening. While Taiju wishes to save the girl he loves, Senku is determined to figure out the cause behind the strange phenomenon and restore the world to its former glory. But when they free the infamously powerful Tsukasa Shishio in order to gain an upper hand against the dangers of an unfamiliar world, they realize that their new comrade has other plans. Tsukasa sees the predicament as a chance to start over, free from the corruption and destruction wrought by technology. He will stop at nothing to achieve his goals. With both sides unable to see eye to eye, Senku and his devotion to science will clash with Tsukasa and his primal nature in what will truly be a battle of the ages. There we go.
Yeah. Are you like, do you have a screen? Do you have a screen you're looking at? That has that on it? Okay.
Yeah, I got a yeah.
He memorized it and then just gazed.
Just stared at the heavens.
Into the distance.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I couldn't
He's
see
a
myself.
professional.
No, I have a double, it's like an up down instead of a left and right.
Oh, that's
type of
cool.
deal. Yeah.
That's cool. I know. I was just like, wow, he's really into this.
That's my Dragon Ball Z recap.
I like it.
I love it.
I practice it every day.
All right, let's do spoiler-free recommendations. Dukes, you want to go first?
Sure, I can do that. I started reading Dr. Stone a while back, like quite a few months ago. And I You know, to be honest, at first I didn't really like it very much, but I liked the framework and the story, and everything really grew on me over time. I would definitely recommend it. I would say that there are some things story-wise that are weak at the beginning, but that it gets better, and the art, honestly, from the get-go is fantastic. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Just I hate when people say this to me, and you're gonna hate me saying this. It's one of those ones where I would say read like 20 or 30 chapters and then see how you feel. Because that's what it took for me, and I'm really glad that I pushed through because I really, really like it now. So yeah.
Yeah.
There's that.
Mike, would you like to go next? Otherwise, I can go.
Sure. I'm pretty much with Dodger on this one. Like, when I first saw the anime first, and I was like, all right, this is okay. It looked a lot like JoJo. I was like kind of interested in that, and then I started reading it, and I was like, this is okay. I like the way that the manga looks better than the anime. I think the manga is cleaner, and I think Boichi, the mangaka on this one, or the artist at least, is super talented, and like just being able to see his work is fantastic. It does take a little bit to get into, but one of the things that's great about Dr. Stone is that you actually learn a lot from it. There's legitimate interesting, very cool information that I've always kind of been intrigued about, that I learned through reading this comic book. That, like, I don't know, if you're into that kind of stuff, like, this is definitely one of those for you. And it's, it's got the action, and we were talking about it earlier, but I got a comment on one of our Dr. Stone video that says Boichi draws the best anime babes. It's pretty accurate. They're babes.
The babes. Everyone's a babe. Everybody.
If you like the babes, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I only watched the first episode of the anime. And so Dodger had recommended that I read this like a while ago. I don't remember what we were doing, but you just recommended that I check it out. And I did not. To be straight up honest.
That's okay. We recommend things to each other all the time, and it's like a hit or miss situation, like whether or not we'll actually do it.
One of us will actually do it.
It's chill.
So I agree that it's very slow starting, but it goes in a direction that I was not expecting it to, in terms of like characters that were there and characters you see and like what actually is going on with the storyline. I have some criticism of like the antagonist, which we'll go into later. But I agree that you give it 20 to 30 chapters and it just starts going, and it's like awesome. And the art is fantastic from the get-go too. I felt like I learned a lot about different chemicals that I'd forgotten from high school chemistry.
It's a shonen battle manga that is also secretly a science book.
Yeah. Like a good one too.
Yeah, like a really interesting one.
Man,
Yeah. It's like
some high
like
school
a do-it-yourself anarchist cookbook almost, kind of.
Some
at some
next,
points.
like, millennial teacher is gonna be teaching Dr. Stone in their chemistry class.
You're gonna be like, extra credit, read all of Dr. Stone.
I did.
Recreate
I
what
dig.
ex-
I dig.
Don't read all of it, I'll know.
All right, cool. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add? Otherwise, we'll jump into spoilers.
Let's go into spoilers section.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The stone is God.
Yeah, soap is God.
Soap
which is
is
the actual
God.
Dr. Stone. Can I tell you guys a story really fast?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
So you know how they do the whole thing where what's his ass gets hit in the back of the head and they're like, oh, he's dead, oh no.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God, yes.
There's no way that he's actually gonna die, right? But Sam and I were watching that episode of the anime. I'll keep this really brief. Sam and I were watching that episode of the anime, and he was like, well, we know he's not gonna die because he's Dr. Stone. And I was like, no, he's not. And he goes, what do you mean? Then who's Dr. Stone? I was like, he's not Dr. Stone. He could totally die. He was like, wait, what? I thought he was Dr. Stone. And I let this go on for way too long. And then I was like, don't you remember the episode that they made soap? he said that the soap was Dr. Stone, and I almost got thrown out of my own house.
That's so
I
funny.
was gonna say, knowing
welcome to the
Sam,
Dr.
he was,
Stone manga.
he was probably so done with you. Oh
That's
my
funny.
goodness.
Yeah, that's right. He did drop the name of the. It's always weird when they do that. Like I started reading Berserk today. Berserk was my next manga in line after Dr. Stone. And like the first comic, like that little fairy was like Puck was like Berserk. I was like, yeah, that's
There it
oh,
is.
that's there it is.
Yeah.
So early.
So
Yeah.
self-aware.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with the question we usually like to start with when we get to spoiler section. What were you guys expecting before reading this manga? If you've already read it, kind of what were you thinking going into the reread? And if you can remember what your thoughts were when you first checked it out, too, feel free to bring those up.
I didn't I'm trying to think of how to say this. I didn't expect for a manga that's supposed to be about science, I didn't expect like some of the character motivations to be so flimsy at the beginning. Like the thing that honestly irritated me the most about the beginning is like Taiju literally only thinking about the girl he had a crush on, not thinking about anything else, that sort of stuff. And then Tsukasa, like his whole thing, like yeah, I'm a nice guy, but also I'll totally murder all these people. Like there was so much going on in terms of what characters like believed and their motivations and all of that stuff that I was just really surprised. I don't know. I was really surprised that the character motivations were so flimsy because I knew that the science part of it just from the get-go was like really fun and really well done. So I was like, the thing that is like really getting in the way for me at the very start of this is that like I just don't like anybody.
Yeah.
I don't like any of the characters.
Yeah.
Like shit.
That's how I felt going into it too. And like even the anime, I was like, all right, I mean, like I said, I only watched the first episode. But the characters, I was just like, I'm not connecting with you. I'm not connecting with you. But this science stuff is interesting. And that's how I felt about the characters until basically like almost where we stopped reading, I feel like. Yeah, so that's just where I was at going in. I didn't realize the art was as good as it was too. And then I also sorry, I heard my baby move. Yeah, I didn't expect to be as interested in the science stuff either. The way they presented it, I think they really nailed. That's like definitely the strength of this manga, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
So.
For sure. So I don't remember the exact words that I was told. One of my buddies, Tyler, who works on the channel, was like, "Oh, you gotta watch Dr. Stone. You gotta watch it." Like, it was like it was like two JoJo characters have a philosophical war. Was how he explained it to me, something like that. And so when I went in, I was like, yeah, because like I'm on the edge with JoJo. Like I watched like 5 seasons of that show, and I still don't know how I feel about it. Like
Totally. Yeah.
I really like
I like
absolutely
fair.
yeah, I like the 80s like hair metal vibe to it, and the posing and the beautiful muscular men. But you know, so when I went into Dr. Stone, I was expecting that kind of like ridiculousness, which wasn't really there and wasn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, I think saying that it feels like JoJo is wrong, and a lot of people have been saying that, and I just don't think. I think if I was told that it was going to be like JoJo's going in, I'd be like, "This what?"
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt too. I was like, "What?" And then the first episode like really drew me in. First episode, first issue of the manga really drew me in. I liked the conflict of like this crazy thing happened and so much time passed and you're in this like really wild world where like don't know anything that's gonna happen. It's like it's an isekai that's not in another world, you know?
Right.
So that was really cool. And then I think you're right. Like originally the character motivations are kind of flimsy. I generally expect that out of a shonen manga.
Right. That's fair.
But but you know, the other thing is though is that like
like our whole episode that we did on it was all about the difference in philosophy between Senku and Tsukasa, and like who is actually the bad guy in that situation. Which when I started thinking about that more, like a lot of questions popped up because Senku, at least up until 34, Senku seems very like selfishly motivated. He seems like a character that only cares about going to space. Like that's what he wants to do. He wants to go to space, and he's willing to get there by any means possible. And Tsukasa is very concerned about the like kind of mental and physical well-being of the people on the planet, and he's willing to like do awful things so other people don't have to do it in order to make that future possible. It's just very interesting. Like, and in the comic book, they're always talking about like, oh, who's the bad guy? You know, like Senku, you look like a bad guy. You know, you're always scheming and like smiling and doing your like Cheshire Cat thing. And like, I just thought that was really cool. So it kept me going. And then when they introduced more humans, the village, like that was really exciting and stuff like that. So I don't know. I got into it pretty quick.
Yeah.
It does take a while though, like eight issues at least, more maybe.
Yeah, it takes a bit. Yeah. What are you gonna say?
I was really, something that is like later on in our reading that surprised me the first time was that Taiju and Yuzuriha were literally like sent away.
Yes, agreed.
Like they literally make it seem like Taiju is gonna be like the shonen protagonist of this story, and then his good buddy Senku is gonna be like his BFF backup, who's like the actual brains behind the operation. And then he's like, all right, Taiju, I need you and Yuzuriha to like spread the word that I'm dead and then just not be in this manga anymore.
Yeah. It was like there was a switch. The mangaka was like, all right, I actually know where I want to go with this story now, and these two characters do not fit in, so we'll come back later. And like they were definitely like they were like fine. They definitely felt the most shonen. And so it's almost like, they're like, all right, now that I have readers being like, all right, this is a shonen, I'm just gonna get rid of them, and then maybe they'll come back. Because once he gets to the little like village, it perks up so much. Somebody in chat even said like it just immediately, and I don't know if it's because the characters are so much stronger. Like, I feel like that might be the big part, is that the characters in the village arc are so much more dynamic and interesting. And so, I feel like once it gets there, it just immediately it goes like, shoop.
Yeah. Once Kohaku showed up, I was like, like this.
Oh my God, I love her.
Yeah, she's great.
Fantastic.
I will say, I know that that you feel that there's some bodacious babes in this. They're all like fucking dead behind the eyes though.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
like every single lady character looks like there's just nothing going on their face, and it weirds me out so bad.
So you know how like when he gets to the village of like 40 people and they have all of the like profiles of them? If you look at the lady characters, they have the same eyes and like the same thing, except for little watermelon head. She's like the only one, and like some old lady. Yes. And so it's like all of the women characters have like same face syndrome so bad.
Which is so weird because he's so good at drawing like extreme Lou's image right now. Extreme facial expressions on the guys. And the girls like don't get that treatment at all. And I was like, I would love to see that fucking facial expression on Kohaku. Like it would give me life.
It would be so good. And she's like a character who would make it. Like she would make that kind of a face. So that just makes it feel like we're just being deprived of it even more. It just bums me out. I'm like, make the ladies look stupid. That's all I want. They can be hot and have stupid faces at the same time.
There's like one chick later that has like bigger lips. I think that's like different.
Are her eyes still dead?
Yeah. He has this like glass. It's like glass eyes. Like they're just like blue circles or something that he. Yeah, I totally like. I've seen like I'm very very aware that he's like. The poses that he draws them into, you know what I mean? It's like it's so fan servicey. It's so like over the top fan servicey. They're all cut from stone, you know, like they're all like rocking C pluses. Like it's just like Yeah, that's what
All
it's.
right.
It's there for it's there for the shonens, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
yeah, they all
It's-
their faces are very very similar.
Yeah.
It's strange
It's just like, what is
and
going
extremely see through. Like
Yeah.
it's very transparent. It's like, all right, thank you
There
for
it
that.
is.
And moving on, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
I think especially it's kind of jarring because with main dude, like his character design is so different. It's so unique. I feel like.
Yep.
And so then
That hair bugged
the
the
hair-
shit out of me
my
for
God.
so long.
I
And now I
still-
love it, but I hated it for so long.
when he goes in the hot spring, I'm like, who are you? Like, did they just get like a third? Like, where did this guy come from?
yes.
Yeah, his hair, like the shading on it, and it's still like when I think about the anime hair, I'm like, you still kind of bug me whenever I see a picture of it. I'm like, but it definitely like just becomes a part of him by the time where we stop reading. It's like, there it is, Sensu hair.
What's it? It looks like Wambach or like bok choy or something like that. Like
It
he's got the
does,
like
it
it's
does.
like white and then
Yeah.
green. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that has anything to do. Like I wonder what Senku means.
Going like
Let
the
me see,
Dragon Ball
there's-
Z route and naming all of the characters after vegetables.
Yes.
What does Senku mean in Japanese? More meanings for Senku: precursor, pioneer, forerunner, herald, outrider, pilot car. Okay. Well.
Okay. Applicable.
Yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
to do with onions.
No. Interesting. And I guess they said at some point in the manga that like most of the people in the village are named after rocks. So you know,
Yes. Yeah.
doing that mangaka thing where they're like, haha, I'm gonna be so witty about this, you know. But it's cool. I like it
puns.
when they do that. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, this guy's name means gold. I'm gonna give him a gold spear, and your
Yeah.
name means silver. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Dude, apparently the Japanese love puns. When we were coming up with the name for Bonsai Pop, I wanted to create kanji for it, you know, so like people could read it in Japanese. And I talked to Gaijin Goomba and my other buddy, and Gaijin Goomba was he tried, but my other buddy is actually Japanese, and he was like, well, we love wordplay. He was like, so what if we call it bonsaisu? You know, so
Yeah.
it's like it gets the point across that it's like a bonsai tree popsicle, but it's bonsai and isu, which is the borrow word for ice, and it's one word
Right.
together, and this is how you write it. Here you go. And I was like, I'm taking it.
That's ours now.
That's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
great.
That's awesome. It's
Yes,
ours now.
Yes, they love that. They love that
it.
stuff.
Yeah, and like it's very common for like the names to describe the people too,
Mhm.
like their personalities and things like that.
I wish I knew
Um,
more about it. Like, it's just the language is so difficult.
It's a very hard language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Senku. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on his personality and where he is as a character? And like where you think his character could like grow to, like in terms of development for him. Though if you've already read it, I guess this is a stupid question, but
It's not a stupid question.
No, it's not.
I
I can
will-
remember back what I felt like when we started. You know.
I will say that out of all of the characters, he grew on me the fastest. I think because I appreciate the character that creates like forward momentum in the story. And he, through like the vehicle of science, right? Every time there's a halting point, he's the one that can say, no, we're not done. You know, we can keep moving. So as a character, I really like him, honestly. I don't move on for me. I'm trying to figure out how to say this without spoiling anything.
I would say that as a shonen protagonist, he's very refreshing. He's very different, which I can always appreciate. Like, he still gets that whole, like, I've got an idea thing. But in shonen, you usually see the, like, Genki character, like, as the main character. And so that is definitely something that I appreciate and find refreshing. Like, that's how I felt about Kuroko, too. Like he, as a shonen protagonist, people look at Kagami and are like, oh, that's who this story is about, and then you realize no, it's actually about Kuroko. And so that's just something that draws me in, is when the main character, like how you're expecting them to be, is just a very different like trope. And so I really liked that about him.
I also like, sorry to hop in again,
No,
but I also really like that it would be very, very easy for this manga to basically be Senku talks a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he's put in a situation where he's the only person with the answers a lot of times. And somehow they managed to make it not only like interesting, but they also, you know, Chrome was added. He's a great character, like having another character who's interested in science and knows some stuff, but like is like acts as a sponge. And then, you know, we have like varying degrees of interest within the characters, and I think that helps a lot. So
Yeah, for me, like I started off really not liking Senku at all. I kind of thought originally that he was a bit of a pretentious dick.
He is.
Yes, yeah. It's
and
a
then
fair assessment.
during the Tsukasa like debate or like, you know, like philosophical war that they're having, I was really on the fence about it, because Senku represents bringing back modern civilization and, you know, in society, and like there's a lot of issues with that, and like power dynamics and like, you know, classism and all that stuff comes back if Senku gets his way. And I was like, I don't know if I can like follow this guy. Don't get me wrong, I don't like the way that Tsukasa was going about it either, but at the same time it was like, you know, science is great and all. Like I used to like study Zen back in the day quite a bit. You know, I'd go down to the Zendo, and like that was very peaceful, and like I kind of could feel like Tsukasa's vibes on that. But as time goes on, you start to get, and this is one of my favorite things about the way that Senku is written, is that I think the writer wanted you to think that he was a dick and kind of wanted you to not trust him. And as time goes on, if you pay attention, he lets things slip. He cracks here and there and does something that isn't purely logical. You know, it isn't purely for the sake of this, that, and the other thing. And like he will crack like a very small, like, I'm glad I did this for somebody else kind of thing. You know, he's a good guy. Like he's a legitimately good guy, I think, by chapter, you know, around chapter 34 for sure. And yeah, he grew on me more than anybody else. Also, I didn't really like Chrome at first either, but I liked him a lot, very quickly too.
Yeah,
he's a sweet boy.
He's precious. Precious little boy. So what's the antagonist name? Sorry. Tsukasa.
The ultimate primate child. What was his name?
Yeah, it was like the ultimate primate teenager or something like that. I don't know, high schooler.
Like, so we could not let that go. I was like, what the fuck? What does that mean? What?
It's such a Danganronpa reference. I also love how they reference video games constantly. What are the ones? Dragon Quest and
Monster they reference Hunter. Dragon Quest.
Wasn't there a joke about harem in there? Was that in there? Or is there? I think so. Was there something else I read?
Somebody wants a harem.
They're like somebody talks about a harem and then they pronounce it like harem. Like
it's Gen.
Yeah.
Gen wants a harem because it's like
that's right, him. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot about him. He was.
Yeah, he's great.
They did the whole like. Fucking nobody carries packets of blood on their body at all times. Like, why?
Gen does. Always.
Just kill him. Just let him die.
Whatever the fuck that means.
It makes me so mad. The whole, like, ass pull of, like, oh, no, they got horribly stabbed. That, like creates something interesting. Well, I know it's not the, like, theme, like, feel of the manga, like, the atmosphere it gives off.
Right.
But God damn it. Just fucking
He's like Batman. He's always 50 steps ahead of everybody else.
Everybody else.
Just wearing an entire bodysuit of blood packets.
Nobody does it.
The mentalist.
And then he
The
leaves.
mentalist.
Mentalist. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, he is a good mentalist." I was like, "No, he's not."
Is that an actual term that people use? Mentalist?
I have never heard that term.
I don't think so. At first, they're like, he's a magician.
Yeah.
And then they were like, he's a mentalist, which means he understands how people think. And I'm like, okay.
He came.
I think I see what you mean
I
with this.
feel
All right.
I feel like he was there just to be like, Sugas is just also still a thing. He's still
Yeah.
relevant. Bad guy is still doing his thing. All right, here I go. Bye.
I swear he's useful.
Yeah. he actually, like, he probably more than Senku and more than Chrome ended up growing on me a lot.
Mm.
I like Gen a lot. He's very, very funny. His pig Latin is annoying though. I don't get
Yeah.
it. I don't
also
understand why he speaks in pig Latin. Just
The
like, what-
translator was like, this is going to be real good.
Yeah.
Everyone's
yeah.
going to love
Oh,
this good.
boy.
Dude, that's the kind of power you have when you're a translator, you know?
It's true.
You're like,
Pig
Make or
Latin.
break an entire
Exactly.
character with pig Latin.
They're like, I've been
Yeah.
waiting for this moment.
Finally, I can express my love for pig Latin.
Oh goodness. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so we have all of the people at the village now. So there's quite a few going on. We've got Kaku's sister. She's doing
Yes.
her whole thing.
Oh yeah,
The sick girl. Sick
shamaness.
shaman. The
Ru-
true mentalist.
Yeah.
I don't remember her name. Yeah, the real mentalist.
Ruby,
It's random, isn't it?
Ruhi.
Oh, Ruri,
Ruri.
right? That's
Yeah.
her name. Yeah.
Yeah. So where we left off was the very start of the whole battle for her hand in marriage.
Right.
I keep wanting to
Oh.
be like, what do you guys think is gonna happen? But I'm the only one who doesn't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
What do I think is gonna happen?
What do you think is gonna happen, Aaron?
I think Spear Boy is gonna win.
Which spear boy? Silver or gold?
Both of them. It's gonna be a
Okay.
poly
Together.
relationship.
I'm very excited for this
Sorry, I'm
OT3.
I
The whole town will be totally behind it.
I was predicting that. That I remember like heavily being like, yeah, Chrome's gonna win this. Chrome's gonna win this.
Mm.
Either that or like somehow, Tsukasa's gonna, or not Tsukasa, but somehow like Senku is gonna end up like getting himself stuck in there. That was the one. It was either Chrome or Senku was gonna like make it to the end.
Right.
But what happens is very interesting. So
That's
good on.
that does bring me to like another thing I wanted to talk about is like the romance itself. Cause like when Kohaku is first introduced, she's like, "I like you," and I'm like, "Fuck," and that doesn't happen.
And then he's like,
at all.
ew, romance. And
Yeah.
she's like, no, not like that, you gross
Yeah.
perv.
Gross perv. And then it's not this
Literally
like
never does it
awkward.
again,
Yeah,
right.
there's no awkward like, oh, she has a big crush on him and she's starting to just exist to be the love interest. That's not the case at all. Like she's just like, all right, he's very interesting, but I have no romantic feelings towards you. And so there's no like awkward blushing or anything like annoying like that. Which I really enjoyed the fact. Like even with Chrome, like there's just nothing like there's just no awkward flirting or one-sided like stop flirting with me thing going on, which is very nice. Demon Slayer.
I don't know what you mean. And neither do you, chat.
Demon Slayer was another one of those where I watched the first episode and I was like, I'm gonna read all of the manga tomorrow. And
It's
that's what I
so
did.
good.
It's really good. I like
So
the show is better in my opinion.
yeah.
The show like I mean I call it UFO table. I don't know if it's ufotable or whatever, but like their animation is gorgeous. Like how do you pronounce that?
I like the way you pronounced it. I'm sticking. That is the way it's
Ufotable?
pronounced now.
Ufotable? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Definitely ufotable. No, I think it's UFO table, but
That's what I
honestly,
always
I
thought
have no
too.
Is it? Because I always
idea.
thought it was ufotable. But
Because that's a cool name.
I'm 100% convinced that it's UFO
It's
table.
UFO table.
UFO
Well,
table.
UFO is capitalized.
Yeah.
And then table like isn't. So I was like,
True.
all right,
So I
maybe
laughed.
UFO
I laughed
table.
because I thought it was a goof, but now I laugh at myself for being wrong.
UFO table.
UFO table.
Anyway, back to Dr. Stone.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't mean to
sorry.
birdwalk us there.
Let's focus. It's all right.
But yeah, I like that fact, and I don't know if that's gonna stay that way, but I think they've handled it really well, even with what's strong Genki boy name from the very start? Taiju. Even with him and his lady, the fact that they were like so quick, like, oh yeah, like I remember what like you were gonna tell me something. And he's like, no, I'll wait, and it's just like, all right, cool.
Oh wait, we've got shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, I like this, and obviously she knows how he feels, so there's no awkward like, ooh, I don't actually like him, ooh, anything going on, and then they're gone, so there's no chance for that too. I hope they come back married with a child.
That would be amazing.
Very mild.
All that I will
Alright.
say is I think that you will be satisfied with the way that sort of thing is handled.
Yes.
I
Yeah, I
like
would say
that.
that I would say that the manga pretty much stays true to itself like throughout. Like it's weird, like Senku is totally bonerless. Like
Yeah,
what
dude,
Yeah.
it's really true.
I love
he doesn't
that. I
give a
love it.
fuck.
Like
He's
science.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he only gets excited.
He's like
when
Haru
he
and Free.
schemes. Yeah.
It's just
water.
he's got his
It's-
one love, and it's not a
yeah.
person.
I know. Yep. Yeah, it's really weird. It's such a contrast between the characters and the art style because like all these characters are like, no, we got like business, like there's a couple of them who are like, like like girls are boobies, right? Like boobies, but like nothing more than that, and then
Yeah.
you have like all these like over sexualized babes and nobody is like fawning over them. There's no like
Mhm.
weird like relationship dynamics. You're right.
Yeah.
That is cool. I never really thought about that quite as
If
much.
anything, like somebody like Kohaku, who's definitely like hot as hell,
Mhm.
they constantly are like, this fucking gorilla lady over here.
Yeah,
She's like,
she's
how dare you?
She's a bro. Like Kohaku's
so
a bro.
Okay.
Like,
She's
just
so
straight up.
I love
Yeah.
her. There's no like, oh no, you fell on me and now your hand is squeezing my boob, but you don't know that it's a boob. And now I'm gonna scream and slap
no,
you.
you
Oh
should-
no.
Squeeze it a few times just to check.
Just to check.
Just
And
to
I'll
make
make
sure.
gaspy noises and then slap you.
Right.
Watched a lot of anime.
I'm watching To Love Ru right now, so it's very, very.
Is that really relevant?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know if you've seen that one, but that one's. So like we have Verve, because we did a sponsorship with them like a long time ago. We still just get it for whatever. I think they forgot about us. But Verve has High Dive on it, and High Dive
Right.
has like all the raunchy shit. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
To Lovers, it's good. It's fun.
That's awesome. Should we talk about art?
Yes.
Yeah, art's
let's do
great.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that like the initial designs of the characters were meant to stand out too much almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like the characters, it felt like he wanted to make them like really like this is Senku and this is Taiju and this is Yuzuriha. What are those things? Are they headphones? Are they part of her head? We'll never know. They didn't get destroyed with all of her other clothing. They're still there. She never takes them off. They must be part of her head. We don't know.
These are questions that bother Dodger in the middle of the night.
I just want to let you know the fact that you can remember and pronounce her name is commendable. I'm
It's
very
because in the
impressed.
anime you hear Taiju go Yuzuriha so many times.
Because I'm always like, what is her name? And then I read it and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's quite the name.
But yeah, the actual execution of the art is gorgeous. I love the facial expressions. Like I said, I wish that the ladies like had a little bit less dead face. But the way that it's all executed and the clarity of it is top notch. It's so good.
Yeah.
You want to go?
No, you can go.
Okay. But yeah, like we were talking earlier right before we started, and I'm pretty convinced that shit, I already forgot his name. Boichi.
Boichi.
Yeah,
Boichi, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he does digital art, because like it is so very clear. Like the blacks are so black. The like special intro pages where he does a ton of shading are gorgeous. Like there's so much depth to it. Like, and sometimes he does it just for fun. Like sometimes it's a gag, and he'll draw something like absolutely gorgeous that like sets itself so far apart from the rest of like the normal pages, you know, like when you compare it to, like, no offense to mangaka, but when you compare it to Samurai 8, it's like the pages of Dr. Stone are so full of life, the characters are so expressive, except for the females, unfortunately, though Kohaku does get some reaction
agree.
shots.
Yeah,
She
she
like
does.
every once in a while she throws on a face that actually cracks me up.
Yeah.
But and then the one thing that like I'm always super excited about is the full color intros. Like those are, it's just like so beyond gorgeous. Like this guy is fantastic. Like, it's everything is good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's incredibly well done, and there's a lot of atmospheric stuff that he does too. That really gives you the feeling of you're not in this modern civilization. You're just immersed in this world where like we've been wiped out. And the way he even draws like the stone people, they're so pretty. So like from the very first chapter, you're like kind of drawn in with it because just all of the stone people are done really great. And so then you get into like with the modern faces and stuff like that. The way they display the art or the science too. It's not just the same panel over and over and over of it. It's a very dynamic action for when they're getting into it. So it's like very similar to Food Wars, how Food Wars does the like cooking competitions and stuff. How it's different angles, it's different point of views, it's perspectives and all of that. So it just adds a lot of like life to the art. And so I think that's very difficult to do. So I think that he has a lot of control over his art and the style that he's going for. And it really shows, like it really goes through. And the way that he's able to do it is a man, right? Am I getting this one?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, Boichi's man.
And the way that he does the facial expressions, like we've talked about, are so good. They're just awesome. And it's not the same facial expression every single time. Like the shocked faces change, not even just depending on like the character. Like Senku gets shocked faces so different every single time they happen.
Yeah.
And so being able to pull something like that off is also really impressive. And so I'm also interested to see what other manga and like comics that he's done looks like. Yeah, just to see different world types about what he can build.
Someone said that
Actually-
he did a chapter of One Piece if you want to like read all a billion of those.
Oh no. He it was in the Shonen Jump app. He redid a chapter of One Piece.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it was gorgeous. It was the one where Zolo fights Hakai Mihawk or whatever his name is.
Oh,
Mihawk,
okay. Yeah.
like the Sanji arc in the very
Right.
very early.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
Oh,
So
early.
early on.
it's gorgeous. Like it was so cool to see. As far as Boichi, I was looking up his portfolio earlier. He hasn't done anything that I know of. His last work was called Slut House.
Okay. Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Slut House?
Is that when he was
Yeah.
still in Korea?
No, these are his Japanese works.
Okay.
He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like
Slut.
10 Korean
Oh,
works.
gonna Google this. It's not gonna turn out good.
Incognito.
Be right back. My
incognito.
baby is screaming.
But
Okay.
no, okay. Slut
He did
House.
Trigun, The Lost Planet.
That's what I saw. I saw that he did the Trigun thing. Yeah.
okay. Cool.
Okay, let's see. When did he do Slut House? I'm interested in this now.
Yeah, me too. Actually,
There's one I need to see.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. 9 out of Boichi's 11 hentai one-shots serialized in Comic On were reunited under the volume titled Lover in Winter. He released 2 science fiction one-shots. Okay, so he has another one-shot that I really need to check out. It's called It Was All for the Tuna.
Oh yeah, that one's about a scientist doing anything to revive the extinct tuna. So even experimenting anything tuna related, sacrificing his own happiness is what Wikipedia says. I don't know if this was written by a native English speaker.
Oh my goodness. Wait,
It's very
I want to can I find this? It was it autofills. That's might be Google like listening to me creepily.
Ooh.
Hang on. All right. Oh my
What's
god.
happened while I've been gone?
Is it bad? Is it hentai?
No, I don't.
Slut house?
You know what?
What is it?
No, we're talking about you were gone for a long time. We're talking about It Was All for the Tuna now.
Oh.
Hang on. Here you
The
go.
sequel to Slut House.
The sequel
Also
to Slut House. Here you guys go.
Right.
Here. I gotta remember how to screen grab something so I can show chat just what I'm looking at.
Right. Let me see. I can't.
Wait,
Weird.
how do I? Okay, I gotta remember. I don't want to accidentally screen grab the wrong thing.
That panel is amazing.
Here.
What the fuck?
I got this. I can do this.
Oh.
I can do this. Here we
The
go.
camera says.
There we go. Okay. There you go, everybody. Hang on. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta get the whole thing in. There it is.
Yep. Good.
That's the
There it
first.
is.
When you type it
Crushing
in.
it.
When you type it in, that I want to get rid of this now. I don't want you anymore. Oh! Hey, Fa. What's up?
Ah!
What's up, Fa?
This is me now.
What? You got
I
too
love the-
embarrassed by the tuna.
The
There
blush
we go.
marks
There you go.
on the kid stuffing the tuna
Fuck.
down his throat is very erotic. Yes.
It feels very Junji Ito to me.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I
Expecting that.
thought when I saw it too.
Yeah.
Who's your guys like most like favorite designed character so far?
I'm trying to decide because like his hair bugged me for so long. But
Yeah.
I don't know if I can. He's definitely the most. Actually,
Watermelon Girl is obviously
Watermelon
the
Girl.
answer.
Suika,
Yeah.
I think her name is. Is that
Suika,
what it
yeah.
is?
Suika,
Yeah.
I
She's the
do love
best.
when she pulled the face. The like I can't see. I was like, that's me every day when I wake up in the morning. I'm like,
It's so good.
fucking bad eyes.
She's got
Yeah, I
the
love
fuzzy
her.
eyes disease.
Yeah, I'm
It's
like,
so
I know
funny.
that feeling so well.
Mm.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
her design. I like her as a character too. I just want to see more of her. I want to see what she accomplishes because right now she seems to just like there's not a really clear idea about like what she really wants. Like I know she wants to see, but
She's just a
what
support
her-
character right now.
Yeah, what her overall arc would be.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not super often that they introduce like a young girl in a shonen other than to be like a lolly, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she's not like she's full blown character with a watermelon on her head.
That's That's a good point though. Like
Yeah.
for all of the people that were put in stone, it would have been very easy to have a lolly character. In
It's
this.
true.
And knock on wood, I don't know. Hopefully that's still not the case. That is still the case.
No lolly spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, no lolly spoilers.
Lolly spoilers. Take all spoilers seriously on
Yeah.
MangaPod.
What about you,
Um,
Mike? Who's your favorite design?
Mine? I think at this point in the manga, Gen sticks out a lot. He's got
Mhm.
like this like early 2000s like emo boy thing going on, which is really interesting. And he's got like the I'm sensitive scar that's only on like
Yeah.
one side, that's like opposite of his like
Right.
hair flip. Um, and then, but what I really like about his design is his coat, because it goes
Mm.
up to like the bottom of his throat, and it's got the crisscross in the neck piece. And for some reason, it just looks really cool. Like he looks almost. When I saw him, I was like, "Oh, this is a villain. Like this is a bad guy." You know, because
Right.
Yeah.
he's got that coat that like goes up to his neck. He looks all shady and stuff. But yeah, I think he looks really cool. And then obviously, or maybe not so obviously, I really like Tsukasa's character design. I mean, the
Mhm.
dude like punched a lion in a face and ripped its skin off and wore it.
Yeah.
And he's
I
just like
yeah.
he's just like a beautiful boy. On top of it, he's got like
Yeah,
this
it's
nice
true.
long
Yeah.
hair.
That's what I was gonna say. As much as I am like, Tsukasa, you are so fucking boring. His design with the like lion was epic. Like just the way it like flowed out around him as if it was an extension of himself. I was like, that's actually really cool.
And
Like
his hair is like stone still on the ends, right? I'm thinking of
Mhm.
the right thing. Is that
Yeah.
look like dread braids or
Yeah.
Yeah.
like dread beads? It's
Yeah.
super. It's very very cool. I like
Yeah.
his design
His
a lot.
design's cool.
I do think that in the anime they did a better job of making you feel like it's really a shame that they didn't meet before the stone happened.
Mm-hmm.
In the manga, I don't think that it's just kind of like we could have been friends. Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Bye.
die.
Yeah.
Right. In the anime, they really took a lot of time to make you feel like, wow, yeah, this could have been like a beautiful friendship.
Yeah.
That sucks. You know.
Yeah.
It feels more like they were sort of mourning the conflict of ideals.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the manga, it didn't really
Yeah.
feel that way as much. It felt much more just like, guess this isn't gonna work.
Yeah. One
Yeah, it
of us
seems
is
more like
clearly the baddie.
it seems like Senku kind of expected it, you know, when he's like, I'm gonna like you can almost see his thought process like unravel as time goes on,
Mm-hmm.
because you know at first it just seems like he's like releasing this guy because he needs help in the moment, but then you kind of realize as time goes on that he kind of had an idea that that might actually end up happening when he released somebody so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he already
Yeah.
had that like I don't know, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is. But I agree, like the mourning the loss of that potential friendship definitely wasn't touched upon, you know, like
Yeah.
like it was in the anime.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the anime versus the manga?
I've only watched the first episode.
She's barely watched it.
Okay.
I think that I prefer the manga. I like the anime. I'm watching it. Sam's never read the manga. He's been enjoying the anime for the most part. He thinks that it can be a little slow. But yeah, I think the way that they've visualized certain parts of it, the way that they've utilized like montages has been really effective, because there's so many things that take a while, right? That feeling of like we're trying to filter this alcohol in order to create the perfect, like all of that sort of shit. They did a really good job of like montaging that in a way where it was like, wow, it feels like a lot of time is going by. And I don't remember feeling that way reading the manga, really.
Yeah, it's weird. They like the time hops are not really explained, you know, in the manga at all. It's just kind of like you're kind of expected to assume that like, you know, whatever it is they're building is taking them.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah.
lens. Yeah.
It's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my girlfriend doesn't like shonen at all. Like I don't think I've ever gotten her to watch any shonen now that I think about it. But she likes Dr. Stone. So that's saying something.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And she doesn't really read a ton of manga. So she hasn't read it either, but she's enjoying the anime. So
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Anime is not bad.
Yeah.
Can be slow. The art is not as good.
Yeah.
Unlike
I think
Demon
the art really works for the manga, but
Mhm.
they did keep to the visual style pretty well for the anime. It
And
just works so well in manga form.
Yeah, they kept to the manga really well too.
Mhm.
Like it's pretty note for note, which is
Mm.
cool. Is it a Crunchyroll like original? Because when you throw it on, it says Crunchy. It's like Crunchyroll when it goes
Oh.
into it.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
don't think so.
it's really weird.
I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I have no idea. Sorry, I'm getting you guys off topic.
No, you're fine.
It's fine.
I'm interested. Sorry, because you have a free. Oh, sorry. Fine.
Would you like to log in, Aaron? No.
Would I? Nope.
They're saying it's not a Crunchyroll original
Not
in the chat.
Oh,
It's weird. I've just never seen the Crunchyroll logo like before a show, so I was confused about that.
Yeah, that probably threw me off too. Ow. Should we wrap up and do final thoughts and ratings? Or do you guys have anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to touch on?
No, I think I'm good.
I'm trying to think of my rating. I'm so bad at the ratings. So bad.
I would probably give this section a 6.5 or a 7. I do really like it, and it does all of the groundwork for everything that's going to happen. It's just that, like, I remember the feeling of reading it. 6.5. I remember the feeling of reading it initially and being like, I don't know if I'm going to stick with this. Like, I really love the idea. I love the framework. I love the idea. The characters are growing on me, but like, it's going to have to do a lot to keep my interest. And I totally agree. Once the whole dynamic shifted and he was like, okay, you guys go with Tsukasa. I'm going to meet some chick in the woods and then find another civilization that's alive. That's interesting. All of that stuff really changed the pace and the feel in a good way. So yeah, that this for sure. I think that the beginning has a lot of weaknesses, but it does get better.
Yeah, as somebody who hadn't read the manga before, I think like a 6 to 6.5 is kind of where I was leaning. Just like I said, right when we get towards where we stopped reading, it got very interesting. There was a much more interesting cast of characters that were introduced. They were much more colorful. And the goal becomes a lot more clearer of like what each character is kind of going towards, specifically the main character. Right now, I'm still not sold on the antagonist. I find him to be very weak. And I think that's because he was giving such a flimsy start. Like a lot of the beginning just seemed kind of just not the strongest point. But the art is incredible. That definitely gives it like a few extra points, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it has gotten very interesting towards where we ended. So I think a 6 to 6.5 is pretty fair as somebody who hasn't experienced it otherwise. So.
Yeah. I think if One Piece was a 10 and Baruto was like a 3, I would have to probably put Dr. Stone somewhere around like a 7.5. For me, the first couple issues were definitely slow. I think pretty much the second that Senku met Kohaku, I was much more invested. Once they got away from the 4-person dynamic of muscle guy, girl with crazy long name, and Tsukasa and Senku. So, like it opens up a lot, and kind of what I like about the manga is that it stays so consistent with itself and its themes. And one of the themes of the story is that everything is built upon trial and error. It takes time. You can make something and then make that thing into something better and make it into something better. And the anime or the manga kind of works the same way. Like you start with a single character or 2 characters, and then you bring in a couple more, and then you bring in a couple more and a couple more and a couple more, and it just continues to build outwards, and it takes its time, and you really get connected with the characters. So if it's hard to say, because if I was reading it and it was still coming out now, like if we were waiting for chapter 35, I'd probably be like, but because I know where it goes, it's very well done. Like if they had the plans to go where they are, it was incredibly well done. So I'd knock it up to a 7.5, especially because the art is absolutely gorgeous, and it's it's a smooth read.
Yeah.
Like for sure, it's not, you're not going to be jarred or anything like that. It's definitely not like One Piece where like every single chapter is good,
Right.
but it's pretty, it's good.
Yeah.
It's pretty out there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I ask you a really weird question that's been bothering me this whole time?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And on on your bookshelf in the back, the red, blue, yellow, is that Star Trek the original series?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus Christ. I thought I was going crazy. Anyways.
Yeah, it's Star Trek, and then I got Star Wars original trilogy on VHS next to the special edition trilogy on VHS. I got a bunch of stuff over there. And then I got like all of Evangelion and all of this. I found the box set for Evangelion on the side of the street for free.
What?
Yeah.
Somebody was just like, I don't need this anymore, this baby shit.
So
I
I live
just
in
threw it out.
I
My
live in the
best
Five
girl.
College. I live in the Five College area of Massachusetts. So every year we have an influx of like anywhere from like 500,000 to 1 million people that then bounce, when summer comes. And these are all like rich kids from China and Japan and like all over the world. So they bring a bunch of really nice stuff, or they come here and buy a bunch of nice stuff, and when they move, they just leave it. So like every spring I just go around and I pick up a bunch of free stuff, and it's pretty nice.
Fascinating.
Sometimes.
Yeah. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's
college
interesting.
kids, especially
College kids.
rich college
The worst.
kids. They don't care about anything. Yeah,
Just toss
exactly.
it. What is the art print directly behind you?
That is
that Yusuke?
Is that Yusuke?
That is Yusuke Urameshi. Let me see if I can de-glare him.
Hell yeah. There's just so much going on in
I
your
know.
background that
I was like, I feel like it's Yusuke, but I wanted to.
I don't know where the glare is coming here.
There we go.
There it is.
There he is. There's that boy.
That's sweet boy.
Doing that spirit gun.
That was done by Swami Tsunami. I met him at New Jersey GamerCon this year. I was talking to him because I love that print, because Yu Yu Hakusho is like my favorite anime, and
good taste.
I was like, I love that. Like it was like $12, so I picked it up, and I was like, hey, like I'm gonna put that on my set, and he was like, oh, like you have like a YouTube channel or something? I was like, yeah. Work on this channel called Bonsai Pop. He's like, I know Bonsai Pop. He was like, I loved your Trigun video, dude. And I was like, what? Like, that's so weird.
That's awesome.
So
That's cool.
Like, we're still babies, so it's like, at least on that channel. So when stuff like that happens, it's really nice. And then I got, my girlfriend is an artist, so she drew me a Nezuko over there.
Oh, cute.
Aww.
Yeah. So I printed that one out and put it in the frame.
Aw, that's sweet.
Yeah, she's great. She did all the Bonsai Pop art, like for our channel and stuff like that. So.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's great.
That's cool.
But, yeah. There's a lot of shit going on back there. It's better in the videos because I bring the camera closer.
Right.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. Do you guys have any other things you'd like to add? Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and read the description for the manga that we are reading next week.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, just read Dr. Stone.
Yeah.
Good.
Agreed. Okay. I can't remember what this is. Spoilers. We're just going to go for it. Once upon a time, the kingdom of Blank was ruled by a red blank in human form. By his side, 4 blanks imbued with Blank helped him lead the kingdom to prosperity. Time passed, and this tale became a legend to tell children. As the sole princess of Blank, Blank lives a life of lavish ease. In love with her cousin, Suwon, and protected by her bodyguard, Sunhak, she wants for nothing and remains sheltered from the harrowing reality outside the castle walls. Contrary to this peaceful illusion, Blank is about to undergo a political upheaval. Lots of words. After her beloved Suwon stages a... Nope, not going to read that part.
Blank.
Stages a blank. blank is forced to flee. Though surrounded by enemies on all sides, the banished blank still yearns to save her kingdom. Her solution comes from an exiled priest who tells her that her only hope is to find the 4 legendary blanks guided by a seemingly flirtatious... Fuck this summary.
If you guys can't figure it out by now, you don't know.
Blank sets out to find these warriors determined to restore her kingdom.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
Sweet
It's
Jesus.
Kingdom Hearts. You got it.
Got it. Nailed it.
It's gotta be Kingdom
Madoka Magica.
Oh!
Oh,
Come.
everyone in chat is like, we have no clue. It's
Is that
one of the
actually
worst.
Madoka?
No.
Okay, because I was like,
No.
I don't know. Why
That would
I
be
asked what it was, but-
amazing and so misleading.
Yeah.
You know, nope, so close with you know.
So close. Swap some letters
It's
around,
not
replace one of the
7
vowels.
You know of the Red Dawn, yay!
Nice.
Beautiful, good job.
It's very good. We've
Very
read it
impressed.
once before.
Yes, and I watched some of the anime. It's great. I love it.
It's so good. I will just say, from the summary, when I first sat down to read it, I was like, this sounds like it's going to be a political slogfest and I'm not going to enjoy myself. And it was actually great.
Yeah.
We all like raved about it the first time we read it. So
Don't-
catch up and read it,
Yeah.
and then we can all talk about it next week.
Yes. We're going to be doing chapters 24 through 47, volumes 5 through 8. So that is what we will be talking about next week. Let's go. Yeah? What? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were raising your hand. I'm like, you don't ever do this. Why are you raising your... It must be something really important. Let's go around and shout out our stuff super fast. I'm Erin of Happily Erin. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/happilyerin. I don't really post any anime stuff there anymore. It's kind of a quiet channel right now. But all of my previous anime reviews, first impressions, top 11-ish lists are all there, as well as mental health awareness stuff and MangaPod. I'm currently working on a book. It is going through another rewrite. I'll be posting an update soon on the website and in the Indiegogo. So that's kind of where I've been stuck in right now. So that is what I'm currently working on. If you want to come chat with me, I'm very active on Twitter and Instagram. Happily Erin all across the everything.
Keep crushing it, Aaron.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me at DexBonus on pretty much everything. I am a variety gaming streamer, and I just chit chat a lot. So if that sounds like you jam, come hang out. Also, our other lovely pillar of the show is named Lou, and he's wonderful. You can find him at Lou Talks Anime on pretty much everything. And I'm sure that he would love a little tweet. If you've got Twitter, I'm sure he would love to hear some sweetness from y'all for tonight. So yeah, go check him out for sure.
Yes.
And I am Mike Pixley. I am the face, or one of the faces of the channel called Bonsai Pop on YouTube. It's BONSAIPOP. We are 2 channels. We're Treeskull. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. It's like a gaming channel where we do video essay type format videos that are usually funny. And on Bonsai Pop, we do anime analysis and try to dig as deep as we possibly can into history and social sciences and stuff like that, to like really take a deeper look into what anime is trying to teach us, or what it could teach us. A lot of Eastern thought stuff. I study that in my spare time for funsies, which is great.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
So so Bonsai Pop pretty much anywhere. Patreon.com/Bonsai Pop. I will be in Connecticut, in Hartford on the 28th and the 29th for Retro World Expo, and I will be in New Jersey at Atlantic City for J1Con on the 2nd and 3rd of November. I'm not getting paid. This isn't an advertisement. Just come and say hi.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We loved having you.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. I've been so excited. Like I said,
Aw.
you told me about this months ago, and I was like, Oh, an opportunity to talk? Cool. That sounds fun. Like,
You sound like me.
yeah. I love
I'm
talking.
good at
so,
that. I can talk for a while.
I
Yeah.
can do that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Had a
you
good
so
time.
much. And then thank you everybody who watched us in the Twitch chat. Thank you. If you guys want more of us, we do have a subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod. We have a recommendation thread, working on the schedule. I think that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah.
We will see you guys next week. We will not be on Thursday. We'll be back to our normal streaming time of Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking Yona of the Dawn, volumes 5 through 8, chapters 24 through 47, and we will see you guys then. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.